is the premise. We have with us Magic Johnson calling the game, of course, with Marvin Mike. And joining us from the Magic Kingdom in Orlando, where he's with his kids at Disney World, Isiah Thomas. They were the leaders of the last two teams to win back-to-back championships. Each was thwarted in their efforts to three-peat. Let's begin with you, Magic. You were quoted earlier in the week as saying that while the Bulls certainly are one of the great teams of all time and belong in the conversation, you believe your Laker champions of, let's say, 85 or 87, both teams beat the Celtics in the finals, either one of them could beat these Bulls.
Well, because we had more weapons. I think that what happens sometimes the Bulls rely on Michael too much. And what I was saying, that if you get me in foul trouble and get Michael in foul trouble, take us both out, you would see what would happen. You know, our team would dominate them. I mean, who's going to stop Kareem? And we had so many more weapons. It's just we would beat them.
Isiah, your thoughts on your Piston teams that won back-to-back before the Chicago Bulls beat you in a sweep in the Eastern Conference Finals in 1991, and that started them on the road to their first of two in a row, now verging on three. Could the best of those Pistons clubs beat these Chicago Bulls?
Well, I think it would have been a very interesting games in terms of matchups. I think the thing that really hurt us, if you remember, after we won our first championship, was expansion, and we lost Ricky Mahorn. And we weren't able to do a couple of other things that we wanted to do with the draft and everything else. So it would have been interesting to see how well our team would have fared against this Bulls team. But, you know, when you're talking about this Bulls team, you're really only talking about Michael Jordan. And, you know, you can't really say that, you know, our team would have beat him or the Lakers team would have beat him, because nobody really has found out a way to stop this guy. Now, sure, yeah, if you take Michael away and you take Magic away and you take me away and you take Michael away, yeah, then our teams are better, but the fact is, he's still there.
It seems to me, though, that although teams peak at different times, when the Pistons were beating the Bulls, you had the right kind of defense. You were a tremendous defensive team and physical. You could rough the Bulls up. And with you and Joe Dumars in the backcourt, Michael really had to work on the defensive end. You were often running him into picks and wearing him out.
Well, the thing that amazes me about Michael Jordan and about I think the rest of the players in the league is his stamina and his endurance. The thing that I wasn't able to do, the thing that Magic wasn't able to do, we succumbed to injuries. We didn't have the type of stamina, the type of energy level that Michael seems to possess every single night, whether he's playing against the worst team in the league or the best team in the league. He has an energy level that's unmatched by any other player or any other athlete that I've seen in professional sports. Whether it be basketball, football, baseball, track, tennis, his energy level is so much greater than ours, it seems, that night in, night out, he's there performing at a level that we frankly just weren't able to reach, and that's why he's there tonight, healthy and trying to three-peat, and Magic and I succumbed to injuries.
High praise, that's for sure. Isiah and Magic, stick with us. We'll continue in just a moment after this from Prudential. Well, that's the topic, a possible three-peat by these Chicago Bulls, and we're talking it over with Magic Johnson and Isiah Thomas. Magic, a large part of this question is the era in which a team tries to accomplish it. You and Larry Bird were at your respective peaks at the same time, so the Celtics and the Lakers often went head-to-head, and earlier in the decade, the Celtics would meet the 76ers in the Eastern Conference Finals, or you guys would meet them in the finals. Otherwise, the Celtics or Lakers might have had even more in succession.
Well, that's true. You know, we had the deal with the Boston Celtics, who was a fierce team to play against, who was a championship team. We had to beat them a couple of times. They beat us. And then also we had to deal with Detroit when they came up and they had risen to the championship level. But let me just say this. No question that Michael would have scored 50 on us or 50 on anybody else, because he's just a great basketball player. But I think we would have held everybody else down. and not take anything away from the Bulls, because I'm going to be very upset if he's three-peats, that being Michael Jordan, because he's going to have something over me. See, I can tease him about my 5 championships. Now he's going to be able to, if he does it, be able to tease me about three-peating, and something I couldn't do.
Of course, 5 titles for you and 4 other times in the finals, and each of the 4 times you lost, it was against certifiably great teams. Isiah's already praised Michael to the heavens. One more quick one from you, Magic, then back to Isiah. Do you feel that Michael is the best ever?
I think so. I think he's not only the best basketball player, but probably the greatest athlete that's ever played any sport. And I also think that I had to give praise to another guy in Larry Bird. He was probably the most fierce competitor that I've ever faced. But Michael Jordan is not only the best basketball player, but he's the most exciting basketball player to ever play. We only dream about doing things that he can do, and that being Isiah and myself.
Isiah, quick thought about the second half. The Phoenix Suns come right into the teeth of it here, and yet they lead at halftime. This is supposed to be a Bulls coronation, but the Suns are not succumbing easily.
Well, I think what happened the first half, if you go back to the start of the game when you had the shot on the chalkboard that said win 1 game, Phoenix came out to play a basketball game when Chicago came out competing with destiny and history. And if the second half, holds true to the fact that Phoenix is still playing a basketball game and Chicago is competing for history or destiny, then Phoenix is going to win the game, because you got to win the basketball game in order to win a championship or to go to the next level. And right now, Phoenix is playing a basketball game and Chicago is talking about history and destiny. So one of the teams has lost focus.
Isiah, thanks a lot. Always great to talk with you. We'll hear